Thanks, Gary. Rachel, welcome. You want to take a few questions around one-to-one, how to manage live versus recorded.
Yeah.
You're also, and I think it's a very powerful focus, you want to talk about how you designing instructional content.
Yes.
Over to you.
Thanks, Ty. Yeah, so I got some great questions to answer, which do kind of tie together and also fit in with what I wanted to talk about and some of the reading I've been doing as we try to think about September. So I had a great question from Ian Simpson at Port Lethen Academy about improving access, equity of access in a blended learning environment. A question from Andy Birch at Bradford Grammar about one-to-one device benefits, and a question from Finola Wilson at Impact Wales about live and recorded lessons. And I think those are three interesting questions, because the first thing you need for any of this to make sense is for every child to have a device that is for their exclusive use. And I can just see that a question just came up in the Q&A as well about that. Is this something we should be telling parents they need? I think that's really difficult, because that's a huge pressure, and it's a financial pressure. And we talked at the very beginning here about the digital divide that we knew existed and has been so sharply and horribly exposed by this COVID-19 situation. So I think the first thing to say is that obviously I do think there's a huge benefit to every child having that device for learning. In school, it makes the use of technology ubiquitous and beneficial, because you're not tied to having booked a room and go off and use it and then you're stuck there. And it means that access becomes more seamless. The students get much better at using collaborative tools online than they do if they're stuck in an IT lab somewhere, which there's absolutely still a place for, but not for learning. It's for learning computer science then. So I think the benefit is clear, and it's just about, as a school, how you can manage to get to that, whether you do that through a one-to-one scheme that you're providing the devices, or perhaps you've managed to get some funding for that, or whether you're hoping and expecting parents to buy something and those schemes can be successful. And that comes on to how do we improve the equity of access? Well, I'd like the government to pay some attention to this. That's what I'd like, so that we don't have children with, perhaps one smartphone in the house shared between everybody, and that everybody can have decent broadband that's going to allow them to access learning online if they need to be at home. And so once you've got all that kit, what do you do with it? Well, this comes to the whole, particularly in this lockdown period, the choice. Well, it's presented as a choice, isn't it, between live or recorded? And it's just got to be more nuanced than that, because just like any other tool for teaching, you're going to use the right thing at the right time for the right purpose. So I think the truth is as well, and this brings me on to my current obsession with instructional design and such, whichever way you cut it, for the teachers who've been working all through this period, changing everything you do in a classroom to deliver it in some way online is a massive amount of work, and there's no denying that, because the way you're going to deliver it is different. You need smaller chunks, you need more frequent low-stakes testing to see if, for sort of assessment and self-assessment particularly, for the students to see whether they did grasp what you were trying to convey in your dodgy homemade video. All of those issues around the design of your lesson at a very micro level become really important. So if you're going to do live lessons, the massive benefit is that you get some kind of human contact, even though across the whole world, Year 10 do not want to turn on their video cameras and Year 7 would like to mute each other. So that's the first thing to say. And there's a huge pastoral benefit to them seeing you and seeing each other. And I think particularly we need to remember that this has been an emergency, horrible situation. We didn't just try this for fun because we thought it would be good. But what has stood out for us at Wimbledon, and I know across our GDST network, is the way the children can work in small groups in real time, collaboratively, and giving them the freedom to do that with the teacher just popping in as you would walk around your classroom and drop in on groups to see what they were doing is really powerful, which makes the idea that we're all going to face the front in rows in September somewhat terrifying. And then if you think about the recorded lessons, again, potentially a huge investment of teacher time to produce those. The benefit is that if you do it carefully and you're good at sharing within your organisation and perhaps within your wider organisation, or even, who knows, with other people outside, you know, one teacher can make some really solid sets of videos that perhaps introduce the topic or take the students through some written material as well. You can use stuff like PowerPoint Recorder or Stream Screen Recording for that, or in a primary context, something like Explain Everything. And that can then be shared and reused and repurposed in that blended way that, that Neelam was just talking about earlier. So I think I've probably used up my allotted 3 minutes that I was told I could have. And I hope I've answered those questions suitably. I think this issue of teacher workload and the design of the way we deliver the learning is going to become hugely important after we've all had a rest and we get back to whatever new world we're in September.
Whatever new world, Rachel. Thank you so much.